especially in light of the topic.
He was ecstatic.
I'm sure.
Think about more questions.
And I think about, this has been the number one thing on my mind for the last week.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions. Yeah. That's why I think it has so many things. Ask somebody, so that, yeah, he helped us find it. He had us, I can get to. What are you doing? What is that?
Still.
I'm waiting for them to give me the signal.
First, yeah.
Good evening, and welcome to the Wednesday, May 14th public hearing regarding our 2026 budget. This is a hearing, meaning that we listen to you, the public. We'll first have a presentation on the budget, and then we will hear from you. And thank you all for coming this evening.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I am Paige Cooley. I'm the Budget Director for Savannah-Chatham County Public School System, and I'm just going to go over our preliminary budget and what we have so far. This slide shows our objectives and purpose. We're providing an overview of the district's budget planning process, which includes a timeline, key actions, and decision-making approach. We like to highlight our return on investment that impacts budget decisions. We outline proposed budget priorities and align with the district's strategic plan and student achievement goals. This slide shows the district's strategic priorities and performance objectives. SCC PSS is implementing its strategic plan, The Way Forward, focusing on four main pillars: students, stakeholders, employees, and stewardship. This is a calendar of our public hearings that are coming up. Last week we had a public hearing. This is our second public hearing on the budget tonight. On June 11th, we will have two public hearings on the millage rate. The first one will be at 11 a.m., the second one at 6 p.m., and on June 17th, we will have our third public hearing on the millage rate, which is at 6 p.m. on June 17th. This is a chart of our millage rate for SCC PSS, and as you can see from the chart, the graphs, in fiscal year 2020 and fiscal year 2021, we were at 18.881 mills. We are on a downward trend, and currently we are at 17.481 this year in fiscal year 2025. On this slide, we show the millage rate comparison with other counties. These are some of the larger counties like ourselves on here, but we have also included Effingham and Bryan County. These are the latest Department of Revenue millage rates that have been published, which is 2023's. And on the right-hand side of the slide, you can see these are our, it is graphs, so you can kind of see we are on the lower end. And since then, in 2023, we were at 17.631 mills. We are now have reduced even further down to 17.481 this year. But I couldn't compare this year's to others because they have not published that yet. But as you can see, we're one of the lower millage rates in the state. Budget development influencing factors. Some of the factors influencing the budget development are local and state economic landscape, our enrollment, which drives the staffing at the school sites, increased cost of sustaining operations, unfunded state mandates, which is our years of experience step, our health insurance, and different things that we have to pay the state. We have strategic plans. We have historic budget investments, and we have the board, parent, and community engagement. On this slide, we show the general fund forecasted revenues. Our general fund projected revenue increase for this year is $45.9 million, and that is based on a 10% increase in the tax digest. That is just an estimated amount. We have not received the tax digest as of today yet, so we are waiting to receive that from the assessor's office. But looking at that, our local tax revenue, if you do a 10% increase in the tax digest, that would increase local revenues by $36.9 million. The state has given us their preliminary numbers for the increases on QBE allotment, and that amount has gone up by $9 million. And then federal revenue is an unknown question mark at this time, so we just left it the same, so we are not showing any increase in federal revenues in the general fund. On this slide, you can see the general fund forecasted revenues graphed. As you can see, the locals in blue, the state is in red, and the federal doesn't show at all because we don't show any increase in that since we do not know. Total general fund projected revenues are at $665.4 million. That is an increase of $45.9 million from this fiscal year to next fiscal year. On this slide, we show the general fund forecasted expenditures. And in here, this is an increase in expenditures from this year to next year of $36.8 million. As you can see, we have at the top, I show the restricted use of fund balance for our textbooks last year in February of 2024. It was decided that we would use fund balance to pay for textbook purchases. And so that number I put in there, it does not figure into the budget, but it's just something we have to remember that we have to pay for. We have state mandates, which includes our teachers' retirement rate, which has increased. That's gone up $3.4 million. Our state health insurance has increased for next year of $8.4 million. Our personnel step increase is $4.2 million. Those are all things that are mandated by the state. Our charter school increase, we're projecting that at $2 million for next year, increase opposed to this year. Our other operating, which includes a 3% cost of living for the staff, is $8.6 million. We have earned an additional 22 FTE teacher positions, which is going to cost us $2.5 million. Our enrollment staffing variance is 76 FTE, which is going to cost us $5.3 million. Increase in non-salary per pupil allotment to schools. That's the non-salary money that we give out to schools. We're increasing it because of the cost of goods have gone up. That's going to increase from this year to next year by a little over $700,000. We have increased our vacancy factor by $10 million, which means that we are putting $10 million back into it because we have had high vacancy rates, and we are figuring on having extra money due to time lags from hiring, from the time someone might leave and it takes to hire a new person, and just time to find people for the new position, for all of the positions we have. So that we've increased that by $10 million. School startup costs have gone down. Groves, Pulaski, and Godley Station got startup costs the last 2 years. They no longer will need them. So we do have some startup costs in for Windsor, Forest High, and Bloomingdale, but the other 3 schools have come off. And then central office reductions. Central office has reduced costs by $10 million. At the bottom, it shows our program improvements, which includes supplemental retirement option for employees that are not on TRS. That's about a little over $800,000. We have done a market rate adjustment for several different areas, and that's all shown there. That's $5 million for the classified hourly, 5.6, $2 million for the administrative principals, APs, and directors, and $12 million for certificated and teacher staff increases. We are also implementing a high dosage tutoring of $250,000, differentiated school support of $750,000, expanded early childhood education of $120,000, and pool repairs and operations of $975,000. So our total expenditure amount is $666 million. On this slide, I'm just showing that we are using, with the way the budget is right now with the projections, we would use $1.2 million of fund balance, but I did want to point out that it would have been a positive number, but we did back last year allocate that we would cover textbooks for several years, and that if you put those two together, you can see what actually would have been in a positive balance. And we are looking at possibly some changes to moving that money into a multi-year account and out of the fund balance for the textbook purchases. That's a possibility. On this slide, we are showing the general fund forecasted expenditures. As you can see, that's just what we had on before. It's just graphed. We're showing $666 million in expenditures. That includes a projected expenditure increase of $36.8 million and a use of fund balance of $1.2 million. And it's graphed on the slide, as you can see, each of the areas. On this slide, we are showing the amount of all of the different, not just the general fund, which is what has been talked about in these prior slides, but we're showing what all the fund totals are. The general fund is up at the top. The revenues are at $665 million, expenditures $666 million. We have debt service. Our capital projects is a big one at $162 million. And then on this slide, it shows special revenue funds, these are our federal dollars, which we are we really don't know what we're going to get with that, but I have included them with the same budgets, but with the increase for the salary and COLA and the steps. So that's what these figures come to for this slide under special revenue, starting with Title I, and it goes through to this next slide to 600 food services, and all of those are show you the exact amount that we are budgeting by fund. This slide shows our internal service funds, which is our workers' comp, unemployment, and employee dental plan. Our total revenues for all of the funds added together is $939.2 million, and our total expenditures comes to $941.6 million. And on this slide, we show all of those expenditures, the $941.6 million, and it's divided up so you can see the breakout. The general fund is by far our largest at 70%. The special revenue funds in red, I want to point out, those are our federal funds, which are the ones that are in question. So as you can see, that's over $100 million that we have no idea what we'll receive from that. So that's in question. And then capital projects makes up about 17% of our budget, and then we have debt service and internal service funds, which are less than 1%. Thank you so much.
Okay, now we will hear from our public. First, we have Mr. Rick Rooney.
Good evening, Mr. Moss, board members, Dr. Watts. We'll be very short tonight. I support the budget as proposed by Dr. Watts and her team. I watched the video today, and I was very impressed with the presentation, particularly Stacy Taylor's piece on ROI. I think that's amazing work and will make a huge difference going forward. I'm glad to see we're not cutting things prematurely, but we're going to go through the process and evaluate them. Regarding the investments that are proposed for this year, I strongly support the leadership development in the low-performing schools, the high-dosage tutoring, the literacy education for teachers in the higher grades, and expanding early education. I think all those things are really important and excellent investments. I also support those compensation things that are basically the implementation of the consultants' recommendations, which make sense and I think are real good to do. Today it was suggested we hold off on the pools until we get the full cost and also understand the city, county commitment to eSPLOS, or not eSPLOS, but SPLOS funding for that. And I think that's a wise thing to do. I think it's too early to make a decision on that until we get all that data in front of us. So all in all, congratulations on a great effort, and I hope this passes as proposed. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Deborah Johnson. And if you'll come to this mic, and you'll have 3 minutes.
You don't have to,
Did you want to speak?
or you just silent.
I did. I'm up here now. God, you guys got me on the spot. This is my first meeting, first of all. So I'm meeting you guys for the first time. I'm here because I was interested in what's going on in the school system. I heard on the news about the government funding. So therefore, I have a 4-year-old that's coming into the 4-year program. I have a 18-year-old granddaughter that's getting ready to graduate from Savannah High Early College. So she's getting ready to go out. I got one coming in. So therefore, I was just here because I'm interested in what's going on. Is the government is going to fund you guys? And if so, how do the budget work? Because I don't know. So I'm here to learn. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad y'all here to hear.
We're glad you're here. Dwayne Marshall.
Dwayne Marshall, I didn't intend to speak. Actually, I thought that was a sign that she don't attend this.
Oh, okay.
Those directions weren't made clear as we were entering the space. I'm just here as a concerned, interested
Okay.
citizen.
All right, thank you. All right, and now we have Christina Magana.
Hi everyone, how are you doing today? My name is Christina Magana, and I'm a representative of Migrant Equity Southeast. And I would like to start off by saying thank you all for what you do and being here. I know times are very uncertain, especially with the lack of clarity in federal funding, and what you do is not easy, so thank you. I would also like to thank you for including some information on how English language learners and their families will be supported in the upcoming budget. However, I would request that there be a little more transparency in exactly how ESOL funds will be allocated and used at each school. We have been told in the past that it is up to the discretion of each principal at each school. However, there are some schools in the district where ESL students have had a great experience and are able to excel in class despite learning a new language, and are able to learn and be conversational in English fairly quickly. And then on the opposite end, there are students who feel forgotten, and in many instances we have encountered students that have been here for 2 years and still have not learned English. And I would note this isn't necessarily a reflection on the teachers, but rather the administration of those specific schools. We have been told of many cases at several different schools where teachers are hired on specifically with Title III funding to be ESL instructors only. And those instructors have told us about being pulled from their ESL classes to work as substitutes or to help with preparing with GMAS testing. So then this leaves the ESL students with no instructor for that day. There should be a clear standard of quality education ESL students receive, and not just the luck of the draw where they happen to live or go to school. There is one point in the budget that isn't quite clear, the part that says increase of media translations as measured by the number of documents translated. So some clarity on what that means would be helpful, because all documents and attachments on the school website should be available to families in multiple languages, just as the majority of the website is. I would also note that the part of the website where you go to request to speak in front of the board is still only available in English, so anyone who does not speak English would not be able to request to speak or to request translation. I would also note that translations or closed captions in other languages are not available when it comes to the videos that are available on YouTube, sharing recent board meetings or other decision-making meetings that the district hosts. And this is something that could be easily done. Many other school districts and cities in the nation are able to implement this fairly easy using the third-party service. I would also like to thank you for addressing the need to improve transportation. As many families know, this has been an issue since before COVID, and the fact that choice schools do not offer transportation disproportionately impacts low-income students whose families may not be able to drive their kids to school for various reasons, or can't afford to pay someone to take their child to their choice school that they would like to attend. So thank you all so much again
Thank you.
for what you do.
Thank you very much. Did you put your email address on here?
I didn't, but I can.
Here. Okay, do we have anyone else who would like to speak? All right, with no one else requesting to speak, we're adjourned.